Hello, Earth signs. I am here with your reading for October. Please, if you haven't already, watch the video that just came before this, which I think the title is A New Vision of YouTube Tarot. Yeah, my evolving something. I can't remember what I called it. Yeah, just to say very quickly, this is not time specific. I'm changing the way I'm doing this. As you can see, I'm a baby channel, so please like or subscribe because yeah, there's no point doing it if I'm not reaching anybody. So yes, please do that. I love doing one-to-one live readings, voice to voice, face to face. I can also do recorded readings, but if you're interested, look down below at the email down there. Contact me. Yes, if something's helpful, let me know. This might be a reading for somebody else that you know. So bear that in mind. And what I'm recommending to everyone, I'm doing this, I'm exploring new ways of doing these readings for different reasons, which I have explained in that video about evolving ways of doing tarot, YouTube tarot. So I recommend you to listen to all 4 readings, the earth, air, water and fire. Most of us have different elements, a mixture of elements in our charts anyway. I will put captions on each reading every month so that you can get a sense if a reading is relevant for you or not. But what I'm going to try to do is do slightly bigger spreads and try to touch on more universal themes and teachings of the tarot cards so that, you know, every time you listen you can get something from it, even if the situation isn't specific to you. If it feels very specific to you, the reading that you're listening to, it could be something from your past. Sometimes the situations that come up are situations from your past that you need to look at again to glean new information and insight on it. It could be, most likely, my hope is that it's something that's relevant to you right now, in the here and now, to give you advice about how to deal with your life and situations in your life right now. But it could also be something of your future. I'm not aiming for it to be predictive, but that comes up. I don't feel like I necessarily have control. I think intuition is a mysterious thing. And yeah, this could be, the intuitive messages that come through could be relevant to anyone, anyway, anytime. So I encourage you to use your intuition around that. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I will attempt to answer. Yes, I'm using the Numinous tarot deck here by Noel Arthur Heimpel. This is yeah, it's a queered deck, so all of the sexes are mixed up. We've got some different, it's working with masculine and feminine, yin yang, passive, active, whatever you prefer to call, but I want to make these readings open to everybody. So the images on these particular cards, I do have other decks with much more traditional images, but on these cards they're very non-traditional, as you'll see, which I love because I believe that we need to be inclusive and we need to evolve our ideas around archetypes and traditional stories to reflect the time that we're in and include everybody, which is my aim. So if you don't feel included, or I've done anything, said anything that you feel yeah, has pushed you out or not included you or offended you in any way, do let me know, because I'm really open to change and criticism and just growth. As a white woman, I know I'm can be limited sometimes in my perspective. This reading, anybody drawn to it intuitively, or earth signs or otherwise, what I'm feeling at the center of this spread At the centre of the spread, I have the traditionally called the 10 of Pentacles, the 10 of Tones. So this, at the heart of this reading, we have a situation which is about the pentacles in this deck are represented as books, as tomes, as they're called. And at the centre of this is a situation of that has grown. It could be a project that you've invested a lot in that's become successful. It could be a situation, a home situation, family, something that you feel you're really living. There's something that you experience with your body, with your senses, something that feels developed, something that's grown over time. And it can be a feeling of success at something. It can be the feeling of something that's been finalized, that's been manifested, something that's been developed, and that you feel happy with, that feels successful. The card that was crossing this, that could be the helping or hindering part of this, it was the Two of Wands. This deck represents people with disabilities, people of different genders, people of different sexual orientations. So what we have here is somebody with walking sticks, some kind of disability, but I love the way it's not portrayed as a disability. So that, just to explain that, these two people moving forward, they're discussing a plan, they're discussing a project. One of them's got a book in their hand, they're busy, they're in action, they're in motion, and they're moving forward, and we can see the light coming down on them here. So there's a feeling that this whatever situation that has been grown and evolved and developed is either well, the feeling I'm getting with this is that something's been finalized, finished, grown, and there is a need now to move forward with something else. Interesting that although it's a fire card, the Two of Wands, it's called the candles, or the wands are called candles in this deck, but there's a book in this as well which connects it to this card. So the feeling that I'm getting is, with this knowledge gained, this family built, with the stability of this 10 of Pentacles, we've got now something new maybe that wants to move forward, or the recommendation is the guidance of the cards. The cards are guiding you to move forward now, to keep moving forward, maybe to start something new. Or maybe to keep developing this. Maybe you think the development of this thing is over, it's done, it's got to where it can go, or you feel like you've gone as far as you can go with something, with a relationship or a work situation. But what you're being encouraged to do here, I think, is to either to keep moving forward, or that might be a question. That might be something right now that you're feeling in question. Should I move forward with something new? Should I stay with what I've got right now and just sit in it and rest in it? I stagnate? Sometimes it can get boring. Will I stagnate if I stay in this situation? Or are you getting itchy feet? Are you feeling like, okay, I'm very comfortable now, I've got to where I need to go with my family life, with my relationship, with my work, and now I really feel this need to move forward. So there could be a tension there between the energy of those two cards and in your life. Now the past influence is the Six of Wands, which is the Six of Candles in this deck. And this is like the success card, like, wow, look at this beautiful cake. You've succeeded at something, it's been celebrated, you've been celebrated. And that goes very nicely with this Ten of Pentacles at the heart of the situation here. You achieved something, you worked for something, you overcame obstacles, you built something up, and you experienced success. You were celebrated, your project was celebrated, your relationship was celebrated, maybe it's a marriage, And this feeling of success and celebration, moving into kind of, ultimate, development, progress, manifestation. But then you're left with this sense of, oh, but there's something new I want to start. There's something new I want to move forward. Despite the fact that I've got all of this wonderful stuff here on the ground in my life that I've built up, that I've developed. There's something in me that wants to move forward. And it could be connected to this past success. Once you've won the battle, you've come so far, you've achieved what you wanted to achieve, and then everything's there. And then there can sometimes be that feeling of, now what? In the unconscious position, we've got the Four of Pentacles, which is, as I said, it's the Four of Tones. And this is 4 very precious looking books, but they're locked up, they're locked away. And this being in the unconscious position, in the under position, it could be the feelings as well, the emotions, the hidden emotions, what's hidden under the surface of the situation within you is this feeling of holding on to something quite precious. I'm getting the feeling now that there's more here. There's more, something inside of you which has potential to come out, but for whatever reason it's been locked away. What is that? Is there something within you that you're feeling still has potential, something that you've had to sit on, something that you've had to put a lid on, something that you're not expressing, that you're not bringing into being. Remember, the tomes, the pentacles, are body, are matter, are lived, embodied sensory experience, are material life, materializing things. So when we're holding on to our pentacles, when we're holding on to our potential for producing something, for manifesting something, for embodying something, that's my dog, by the way, scratching at the door. When we're holding on, it means within us something could be getting stagnant, something could be feeling pulled down, weighed down, held in, pent up. The card above this is the Dreamer of Candles, which traditionally is the Page of Wands. And if you just look at her, she is holding in her hand this kind of divine spark, this light. She's holding on to this, or not holding on, but in her hands, she's holding the potential for creativity, for adventure, for new energy to come into the world, and she attracts to her. This can also be very spiritual. Somebody who is connecting to their spirit, connecting to their spiritual life, that's feeling something intuitively that they want to explore, that they want to begin a journey with, that they want to experiment with. I'm hearing the word experiment. So this is about something spiritual, something energetic, something action-based, that wants to, a part of you that wants to, is in the world, because this is in the conscious position, this is on the surface of the situation, that wants to connect, that wants to find connections, make new connections, explore new connections in the world. So we have got a theme coming up here, haven't we? The possible future influence is the Seven of Bells, which is the Seven of Swords. And you see this man here who's cutting kind of like jewels off the bottom of these, the skirts of these dancing ladies. So this is somebody opportunistic, somebody who is sneaking, something who is taking things away in a kind of hidden and secretive manner. in order to gain something. So what is it? There is an influence in the situation of somebody doing that to you or you doing that to somebody else. Most likely you doing this to yourself in a way. So this feeling that you're moving forward with a feeling that you're not really allowed to do the thing that you really want to do, which creates an experience of a kind of creates an attitude or an approach of sneakiness. Why do you need to sneak around? In order to gain something. So there we have two things: a feeling of lack. Despite this 10 of Pentacles, something still feels missing. And you don't feel, whoever this is talking to, and we can all be in these situations sometimes where we don't feel, we feel like, well, I've got a lot, I've achieved things, I've reached success in certain areas, and yet still something in me feels hungry, something in me feels like I need something. But for whatever reason, you don't have permission, or you're not giving yourself permission, or you don't feel that somebody else is giving you permission to go and get the thing that you're searching for. So what I'm feeling here is really the strong theme is that somebody, someone, or a group, but I feel like there's a person here who is feeling a sense of hunger for something that they don't have in their life, despite their life on the outside looks like it's all there. Or maybe you feel like your life isn't all there and there's something missing and you don't know what it is. You can't see yet what it is that's actually missing. I'm going to move on with the other cards here. We've got Temperance, the Tower, and the Chariot. So the three major arcana cards here, all in a row up the side. Temperance, which is how you're experiencing yourself in the situation, how you're feeling in your situation right now, where your focus is, how you're visioning things right now is the Temperance card. And this is about the need to balance opposites, balancing opposites over time, that pouring together of different elements in your life, different things in your life. And that's maybe what you're looking for now. You know, how, if my life has become very stable, in order to stop it feeling stagnant, can I combine it with something exciting, something daring, something dangerous? You know, how can I do that? How can I bring together excitement with stability, for example? So, and that is that's a process that takes time. That's something that you can't find quickly. But maybe you feel like it's taking too long. When I'm looking at the other cards here, maybe there's a slight impatience or a feeling of lack, or because the Temperance card it's a mature card. It's a card of maturity. Like, you have to have got quite far in your life to get to the point where you're aware of the need to balance opposites in your life and things in your life that feel like they don't necessarily sit well together. We are all doing that all the time, actually, especially as we get older. In order to create richer, more meaningful, deeper lives that aren't just moving in one direction or another direction. Nobody is actually just one thing or another thing. We're all a mixture of different qualities. So, and our lives are as well. For most of us, we need difference and variety and complexity. But the difficulty is how to do it with all of the demands of your life, of work, of kids, or maybe you don't have kids. You know, your kid could be a project. Your kid could be a commitment to, I don't know, taking care of your grandma every day. So it could be anything in your life that holds you back. And the need to balance that out with more dynamic, something more dynamic, something more spontaneous. Now, and your environment and maybe even how other people are perceiving what you're going through right now. We've got the Tower card. So this is major, and it is about perception. I mean, that's what I'm hearing now, perception. So if your environment is Tower, it means that maybe other people are looking at you, or you might be experiencing your environment now as stagnant, and or in fact, you know, the Tower card is a major card, major arcana. It's a big energy. It's a big energy, as all the major arcanas are. But this is big in the sense, and it's wonderful in this sense, that this is like divine intervention. This is something coming in from outside to remove something, to shake things up, to remove something. It can be health as well, but something coming in externally that's really that feels like a lightning bolt. I mean, in this card, it's like this, well, I don't know what this is. It's like this kind of, it's a storm. And it's like coming down in the shape of a hand, kind of flicking this person off the top of their tower down into the water. Maybe down into the, you know, the water can be your dreams, your unconscious, your emotions. So, you know, it seems like there is a perceived need, or your environment, or your angels, your guides, you know, the universe is feeling like you need to be maybe knocked out of your comfort zone. And the Ten of Pentacles most certainly can, not always, but it can represent a comfort zone. And look at the contrast of these cards, but also the mirror of these cards, because here, in a way, this Isle is like a tower, something built up, stable, safe, a space for us, a safe space for, and safe nurturing. In this sense, the books are kind of nurturers, are full of wisdom, full of learning, full of potential. And here, this tower is being this person is being knocked out of that place of comfort. So the card, which is a desire or a fear, and I would say most likely in this case it's a desire, but only you know if it's a desire or a fear. That's really for you to say, is the Chariot. This is such a cool Chariot card. Take a look at this. It's the unicorns. It's very different from the traditional tarot card. But here there is a fear or a desire of really moving forward. This is a card of drive. This is about drive. This is about that force. It's a major arcana card. So this is about a force that unifies us. It's such a strong force to move forward in your life or with something in particular. It's so powerful that you will overcome obstacles within yourself. You will pull together opposing parts of yourself. It links in that sense to the Temperance card. You will pull together opposite things within yourself. You will overcome things within yourself in order to achieve your goal. The Chariot does have with it this kind of unifying force. It's a propelling force within us that really can create positive change. And again, that word force, it can force positive change, because the drive to move towards a particular goal is so strong that it will just pull everything in and up and forward. The shadow side of that is, yeah, you can sometimes do that, and who are you trampling on, or what are you trampling on? And are you really ready? And are you driving yourself forward so hard that you don't really see or notice if it's good for you or if it's what you want? Sometimes the Chariot can lack reflection and sensitivity. It's the card of Cancer, and Cancer is represented by a crab. It has a very soft inside, a very hard outer shell. And that's the kind of dichotomy, the paradox of Cancer. It holds Cancers can have this kind of this paradox within and without them of this kind of hard shell and the sensitive inside, and this constant balancing between those two, you know, which is why cancers can get crabby. That's where it comes from, you know. So the challenge here is most certainly to take care with this powerful drive that you're staying sensitive and aware of what you're doing, why you're doing it, of taking breaks, of stopping when you need to stop. And of course, if you're finding that you're stagnant, truly stagnant, and you haven't moved forward in a long time, then you may need to just go with that chariot energy. The chariot might be the medicine you need to force yourself forward to avoid this tower moment. But, you know, towers aren't always to be avoided. Towers can be truly wonderful things, but they can come in quite, you know, shocking packages sometimes. And we have different levels of the tower. So this doesn't have to be the major kind of health crisis or the major breakup or the major house move, whatever it often under force again. So that word force is coming in quite strongly to me. So that's something that clearly somebody needs to hear. Dealing with external forces and dealing with internal forces. Forces within us that are driving us forward, as well as forces outside of us which are pushing us forward, out of things that are no longer serving us. And then we finish here on the Explorer of Candles, which is the the Knight of Wands. And, you know, so this ends in a really, really interesting way. This is traditionally the Knight of Wands can get a really bad reputation as being this kind of, I don't even necessarily want to give power to that by saying, my interpretation and what I've learned about this card is it's a really incredible energy. It's a great, again, matches very well with this chariot energy. I believe that this is you, and this is the future influence moving forward in this really passionate way. And these two go together because this is the Page of Wands and this is a Knight of Wands. So I feel like you're definitely, the future influence or recommendation is that you do indeed move forward, that you don't need to be secret. You don't need to sneak around with your secret passion or your secret desire, but to really take hold of whatever it is that feels like maybe it's going to knock your comfortable, stable life out of balance, but to take the risk, because the Knight of Wands is incredible at taking risks, moving forward with something passionately. And that's the ending message here, that whatever it is that you're feeling scared of moving forward with, or very hungry to move forward with, the encouragement is here indeed to do that, to move forward passionately. There's not many swords here. In fact, there's no swords here, or waters. So this feels very much fiery and earthy. It's a very fiery, earthy reading. So, yeah, you've had success in the past. You know what that is. Oh, hang on, that's not true. At the root of this reading, I've got the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords. So, at the root of this, at the base of this, the Ace of Swords, which is bells in this deck, is about a moment of truth, like a lightning bolt. It's a clarity, a truth, a message that's received or given, something that connects you with a higher truth, a deeper truth, something that you will know very clearly for yourself to be true. And I'm feeling here that, yeah, there's something within you. And underneath that, I've got the six of vials, which is the 6 of cups, which here is an ancestor kind of rising up in front of somebody. So I'm feeling like there is a message. 6 of cups, by the way, in traditional tarot, is a really beautiful kind of loving, giving, emotionally warm, nostalgic card. It's a 6, and the card in the past here is also a 6. So I'm feeling that there is possibly something from your past that you have loved, something that you've done, someone that you've known, a place that you have been, something from your past that's filled you up, that's given you something wonderful, that that you might be longing to go back to, from the place that you're in now, which might be a comfort zone. The 10 of Pentacles can be a comfort zone. It's like, and remember, a 10 is when we come to the end of a cycle. So it might be that something new, some new energy needs to come into your life here. So if there is something from your past that excites you, that you love, a hobby, it could be a person, an old friendship. You know, I've got an old friend from when I was very young. We used to live in another country, and we've been trying to get in contact to each other, and we just haven't been able to. And I keep putting it on the back shelf because it feels like a lot of work to contact them on a cheap call, because they don't do internet calls and I don't want to do a normal phone call, so we keep missing each other. But I just feel like contacting this person from my past is really, really important, and I don't know why yet. You see, Knight of Wands, he doesn't always need to know why. He doesn't always need to know why. He just needs to feel in his belly something passionate, something that he feels passionate about, desire for, that he feels excited by, that he feels inspired by. That's what will draw him into action. So that's a part of you now that's being called forth, the part of you that is inspired by something, very likely something triggered by a joyful thing from your past, to get really clear about what that might be. It may just have been a little idea. I mean, the fact we've got the Ace of Swords might be something that you thought about doing in your past, something that gave you a good feeling from your past, that was an idea that you never fully manifested, and something that you want to try out now. And the thing is with this, the message I'm getting now very, very strongly is that you know, sometimes the things that propel us forward into the next phase of our life, the next cycle of our life, we don't always understand logically with our heads why we're doing, why am I, you know, why am I going to this, I don't know what it could be, basketball class. I'm not really even into basketball, but for some reason, that's Knight of Wands, it's like I just have this burning desire to play basketball, and I don't know why. So, you know, this is something I feel like I say a lot to people, you know, just follow that impulse. Following an impulse sometimes is very important, and you may not need to know why, because it will come clear over time. Temperance, over time, it will make sense why. It will make sense why. It doesn't always make sense in the moment, and that's often how we move our life forward into new cycles, into new growth, how we evolve, by moving out of our comfort zone and following random crazy impulses because they feel good and we don't know why. And the Knight of Wands is saying to own that. own it. You don't need to justify to anybody else why you're doing something if it feels good for you. The knights, they sit upon their horse, and 6 of candles, interestingly, in a traditional deck, is on a horse as well. Okay? So it's something about you getting on your horse in public, as you've done before, and being proud without needing to explain to people about this next step forward. You don't need to. You don't need to do it secretly, you know, because that will lead to, it could hurt other people. It could make other people perceive you as being sneaky and secretive. It could make people not trust you. Sometimes that happens when we feel that we, you know, are needing to keep secrets in our lives. Just because, simply, not because we've really got anything to hide, but just because we feel a bit ashamed or embarrassed about a new step, or scared of a new step that we want to take forward, but we don't really understand yet why, or sometimes even how. So whatever that next step is for you, I recommend you to make it. I pulled a few clarifiers for this 7 of Swords, and I got the Hermit, and I got the King and the Queen of Wands, which is the Mystic, is the King, and the Creator is the Queen in this deck, and the Hermit in between them. So I feel like you need to go inside here with this, remember this, the unconscious, the 4 of Pentacles inside, which connects very, very well with this Hermit. You need to go inside now and take a look at what you have been locking away. These different parts of yourself, the creative, the intuitive, the spiritual, the fire in you, the King and the Queen of Fire, I think is a little bit locked away in you right now. And something in you really, with we've got the whole of the fire court cards here. So there's a flame inside of you that's longing to be lit and released here. And I've got the Justice card as well. So this is about balance and truth, without emotion, with just clarity. It's about coming to fair, balanced conclusions that they don't always feel fair. It's not about something that, it's not about doing something that's always works well for everybody. Okay? So with the Justice card, for example, in a court case, someone doesn't always feel good about the outcome. But it's about decisions, big decisions, or approaches to life where decisions need to be made that don't necessarily work for everybody, including you. But in this case, I feel like this might be about somebody else. So you might fear that the thing that you need to move forward with, this spark, this new passion, this old passion that wants to be reborn, it may not work out for somebody else. But there's something deep inside of you that knows that this is something I need to do, even if maybe for someone else it doesn't feel fair. Now that could be a relationship, that could be about leaving somebody behind, or leaving a job, leaving somebody behind that you know might feel left behind, that might feel left out, that might feel rejected. But sometimes we just need to cut through those parts of us, the heartstrings, to cut the heartstrings, and to just weigh things out very rationally. Meditation can help with this, by the way. In the Thoth deck, it talks about, this card can represent meditation, the need to quiet yourself and really know what your truth is, where your truth lies, and not consider always the feelings of others. Or it might be that someone else can't always consider your feelings. Sometimes life works out and it doesn't always feel right or fair, but it is as it is. Or something might happen that feels fair for somebody else but not for you. Life is as it is. This is really about things being as they are, and it from a very rational, clear perspective. Ace of Swords goes very well together with this card. So following inner truths, and somewhere inside of you there is a king and queen of fire who are longing to come out, and this Knight of Fire, it's a transitioning, it's a moving energy, is going to help you get there. So follow your fire. Follow your fire, earth people drawn to the earth reading. That's the final message for this reading. It's a strong reading. I'm wishing you all lots of love. Like, subscribe, as I said, and I will see you for the next reading. Goodbye.